Hello everyone, my name is Gizem. Today we will learn a little bit about Linux. So let's get used to the most common commands that we use pretty much every day. First of all, I would like to say that the terminal, one more time, the terminal is not an IDE. It's not an integrated development environment. You don't write the code here. You may write, but you need to activate it with some commands. For example, with Python, you need to write Python before you write a Python code, okay? So terminal, when you open it like that, is just an interactive window that allows you to give some commands to your operating system. It is not a place that you write your code. That was something that we encounter quite often at the very beginning, and with some of the students who are not very familiar with Linux, they were trying to write the code onto terminal. Please do not do that. Write your code in Visual Studio Code or any other development environment or any other IDE of your preference, but not to the terminal. Terminal is for commands. But what type of commands we talk about now? Let me make a big screen here and make it a bit bigger font also. Let's start the very first command, which was ls, as we discussed, to list what we have. But now I'm done with seeing the same folders in my home directory. I'm more interested in, for example, going to ROS2 workspace in my home directory, and I would like to change where I am. So I change directory, cd, given space, wherever I want to go, ROS2 _ workspace. So as you see, now the tilde is expanded with tilde / the folder name that I wrote. And if I ls here, I will get a different return because those are the folders under the ROS2 workspace. Just to double check or convince you that I'm telling you the truth, is that if I click ROS2 workspace, yes, those are the folders that my terminal give it to me. Another thing is that, so now, this is a very nice trick that I commonly use in Linux. You need the power tools. That's a nice trick that I use very commonly in Linux. You can easily take a window and keep it always on top and do whatever you want at the background without putting this window to the background when you select the other bigger window. Okay, so what I want to do is to show you the print working directory now. That has changed also, as we did cd, change working directory or change directory, with home robotics ROS2 workspace. So now I want to make a new folder in the current directory, and to do that we type mkdir, which means make directory, and I need to give a name, for example my test folder. That is going to make a folder under this directory. So let's have a look at here. When I press enter, a new folder is created. I could have done this by right clicking and new folder, test folder 2. That would do the exact same thing. So there is no problem choosing either of them. But sometimes it's a bit more practical to do the things in terminal instead of just going and finding the directory in your file explorer, etc. And this is making a folder. But if I want to make a simple file, then I would use the command touch. Touch command is creating a simple file. It can be a text file or any other extensions that you can choose, and you can edit the file that you created after. For example, my text file.txt. Then you will see that my text file is also created. If I go there and write something, save it, and close it. That is a regular text file in Ubuntu. So there's another very nice command, is cat command. And when you write cat and your file name, my newly created file, my text_file.txt, I can see the content of this file at my terminal. So it is very useful when you don't want to use your text editor, you just want to have a look at what is inside this file. You can just cat the file and you will have the content on your terminal. But there was one thing that was kind of annoying. Why do I have to write the whole name or the name of the whole file? There must be an easy way, because just a bit, we like things quicker, right? So if I start cat and tab, there are some suggestions. Tab means autocomplete, or not single, but tab. If you press the tab key 2 times, then the terminal will suggest you or autocomplete your command if there's not more than 1 suggestions. So at the moment I can cat different folders, files, whatever. But if I were to start typing my, which is there's only 1 file / folder in this directory that starts with my. If I press tab, or only single tab in this case, will autocomplete my command here, which is cat my text file.txt. So please use tab autocomplete generously. So if I want to change my directory, cd inside src, for example, I don't need to write the whole src, but if I start typing s and tab, it will autocomplete for me. And if I tab, I will get recommendations. Inside this folder, I have other folders that I can continue changing the directory into it. For example, I can go inside my package, my tab. I still have more than 1 suggestions. That's why it's not automatically completed fully. But it gives me, if I press 1 more tab, it gives me all the possible autocompletes here. Then I can start typing more. I want to go to my package, so I can just press P and tab. Now there was only 1 option after I typed P, then it autocompletes for me as soon as I hit the tab key. And if I press enter, now I change my directory into this folder. Okay, we have gone a bit too much now and it's a bit too crowded. What can I do? I like to have my terminal a bit cleaner, so I can clear. This is another command to clear all the window. Stay in the same directory, but a bit cleaner terminal I have now. Okay. There's another very nice command, which is history. And it gives you all the commands that you have done so far, or last 1,000 or 5,000 commands, depending on how much you set it up. I think in default it is last 5,000 commands, but okay, it can be different based on your preference. So if you type history and enter, you see all the previous commands that you have done recently. Let's see, I think I have like 2,000-ish commands here. So last I did clear, and before I did the history and clear again, and I changed my directory to my package, I kept my text file, etc. So it is a very nice tool or nice command to debug what you have done, or sometimes you do so many things and checking different commands on the internet and you just forget that and you want to have an overview what you have done so far, or if you want to debug something is not working on your friend's PC and you want to help her or him Then you can use history to have an overview what has been done so far, or to remember previous commands, as I said. This is a very nice tool, and I highly suggest you to use it generously. Clear my terminal again. Okay, so I don't need this one now. I would like to change my directory to home directory. So there are different ways of going to home. One way is to cd, and that's it. Okay, you are at home. Another way is to, for example, I was in another place. Another way to go to home is cd and tilde. My screen case stopped here. Let me start it one more time. This is not a very easy symbol apparently for this application. So this will take you to home again. And another way is to, if I go back to my previous place and inside my package, another way to go to home is cd and directly writing the absolute path of home, which was home and Rocotics for my part, or for my case, my username is Rocotics. And I'm at home. So you can choose either of them, or you can just go to home in your file explorer, right click and open terminal. By the way, have you realized that I haven't write any commands for those? Because if you press up arrow key, down arrow key, you can go through the previously written commands. Why my screen? Here. So if I press up key and down key, I go through the previously written commands. So I don't need to write every command again. If it's been written recently, I can just scroll to that command that I wrote previously with my arrow keys and press enter. Then this command has been run as well. One way of scrolling those commands is the arrow keys, and another one that I think I use even more often is to press Ctrl+r. Ctrl+r is a recursive search command or recursive search shortcuts that, for example, you know that you have written the one command before, but you are not sure when. Maybe it was in the past, and you remember some part of the command, but not fully maybe, or you just don't bother to write it all. So when you press Ctrl+r, this reverse I search shows up, and you can start writing a part of the command. For example, roast, I start just typing RO. It gives me possible autocompletes. If I'm happy with that, I can enter. If I'm not happy with that, for example, RO, I start typing again, I can keep pressing Ctrl+r, and it gives me other commands that might fit in here in my history of commands. So recursive search, Ctrl+r, and arrow keys are your best friends in Linux system, because you just don't want to type every command every time. Just make things a bit in the flow, so to say. And let's say I changed my mind and I don't want to complete the command in here. I just want to abort what I'm doing right now and maybe start typing another command. So to abort things in Linux terminal, we press Ctrl+C. Ctrl+C kills whatever the process is up and running in our Linux system.